This is a tutorial on how to remove wrinkles from clothing. Now, the ultimate way to do it is to just make sure that the clothes are ironed and everything's looking great. But there are occasions where it doesn't matter what you do, the clothing just doesn't behave itself. And so really there was the best way for this particular outfit to look good was to have my model stand with her legs completely straight by her side, and the minute she moved, that we got this sort of bunching and gathering, and then the pockets also came through in the outfit. So it was a real issue, and I ended up having to retouch the outfit in all the shots. So there is a number of ways that this can be done. So on a new empty layer, so this is this icon here, I could clone them out. And this is like I've got the clone set to normal, I've got my flow down low, and I can come in and clone, and eventually I'd probably get there. All right. But I just find cloning a bit clunky, and it's pushing pixels around, and I just don't like what it does, and it takes ages to do. All right, so that's cloning, so I don't like that. The other way is to duplicate the layer. All right, so I've got a new copy of the layer, and I can come in and I can maybe use the patch tool. All right, to try and remove and find a cleaner area. And there it is. And occasionally it looks all right, but you've got to also make sure that you match the right tone in the shot. And again, I just find that it takes a while, and if you get it wrong, it can look not as great. Let me just get rid of these grids here. And often you get these little, just shifts in tone. And so again, that can be a little bit clunky. So I'm going to show you the way that I like to do it. And that's by using a brush on a new empty layer. So that's that icon there. And I come in, and what I do is I have my opacity set to 100%. I'm going to have my flow to around maybe 15, 16, 15. I'm going to make sure that I've got a very soft brush selected. So to the right is very hard. You can see the preview up there. And to the left, very soft. So I want like a fairly soft brush. And my size, a fairly decent size, so that looks like it would be a pretty good. And so what I'm going to do is select a color that pretty much sums up the color of the fabric there. And what I want to do is I'm just going to brush over the wrinkles. All right. So you'll see what's happening is that is doing a good job at getting rid of the wrinkles and covering them up and reducing them as well. But it's also, if we zoom in, you can see this is the old area here which hasn't been retouched, and where I have retouched, you see it covers it, but it doesn't look the same as where the pixels were, because I'm replacing it with a color rather than pixels. So I'm going to fix that shortly. So what I'm going to do is, first thing, I'm just going to brush over all the big wrinkles there. All right, just matching my colors along. And then I'm going to address the fact that it doesn't have the noise in it that you get with the original file. So once I've gotten rid of all, and I'm going to also come over here, and I don't want the pockets there. I'm redesigning the outfit as I go as well. So I want to get rid of the pockets. And I can maybe get a better brush I find a bigger brush just makes it all look a bit smoother. Now all of this I like to keep some of these wrinkles up here, but I'm just tackling all of this here and coming down to the legs. All right, so we've got before, after. So it's done a really good job, but it looks like now that it's been retouched, because you can see, if I zoom right in, we can compare. This is the old part that hasn't had the new color applied, and this is the new part here, and you can see that we've lost the noise. So that's what's missing. So now I'm going to actually add noise to my file. So I come to Filter, Noise, Add Noise, and we'll just select an area where we can see, and then I just, like, if I come right up there, you can see that there's a lot of noise, and that's probably too much. And then I just move down. And I find that, and I'm just using my arrow key on up, and I'm just bringing it in until this new section matches the old section. So I'm just going to come up so that it starts to look, that's about right there. So let's have a look. So we've got before, after. So that's added the texture back that was missing, and that's often the giveaway when you retouch an image like that. So I'm going to go OK. And now it looks like it was always there, and that's the way it was. It actually looks very similar to this side. So that's looking pretty good. And what I might do also is just clean up this area here. And what I'm going to do in this instance is actually do come in and use the clone tool. So I just want to brush that in and get rid of those wrinkles. As if I'm being very pedantic, I'll just maybe increase the size of my brush. All right, so getting rid of that. And I'm also deliberately keeping my flow down fairly low, because I want it to build up rather than doing it all in one go. So there you go. So we've got before and after, and that's gotten rid of a lot of the wrinkles, and it's looking much better. Now to finish it off, what I want to do is I want to bring back some of this tone that we've lost. But by when I've evened it out, I've also flattened out the look of it. So her leg is looking rather flat, and so I want to bring back some of the highlights and some of the shadows. All right, and the way I'm going to do this is by adding some actions here. So I'm going to go to my highlight curves action and load that. And I'm also going to go to my shadow curves action and load that. And if I come back to layers, you can see lighter, darker. These are both free giveaways in the download section of the Gold community. If you need to get your hands on these, load them up in Photoshop. I find they'll come in very handy. So I'm going to tackle the darker first. So I've got that selected. I've got on my color palette here, I've got white set as my foreground color. I've got my brush selected. I have a soft brush selected, and I'm going to make sure that it's a good size, opacity at 100%, and my flow is at 15. And I'm just going to come in along the side here. And this basically, what I'm doing is I'm bringing back some tone. So let's have a look. We've got before, after, along the side there. It's just like we're painting with light. I'm going to do the other side of her leg. And so what I'm doing is making her leg look 3D again. So we can see before, after, and that's looking good. I'll come down to this side here. And now what I'm going to do is use the lighter and come in and create like a little highlight down the middle. So it's just making the leg look three-dimensional again. So we can see. And we'll just come down the middle, and I'll do it down here as well. And so let me just put this all into a group so we can see before and after. And now we've just gotten rid of those wrinkles, and it's a really handy way to do that. And it's also a good way, toning images like this actually can make someone look, adding a bit more highlights. You can bring out muscles. There's so many things you can do with this, using these curves adjustments. Very, very handy. But that's just a really quick and easy way to get rid of wrinkles. I think it works really well.